Hello everyone and welcome to the weekly current affairs presented by Economy in IAS. I'm Jateen Bharadwaj and I'm the faculty of Economy in IAS along with the founder and CEO of Bhargavaya Edu-Tech. I'm presenting this weekly current affairs in economics for all the students who are preparing for various competitive examinations including UPSC, State PCS, Bank, SSC and many others. And through these current affairs, which are entirely in the English medium, are going to help you out to prepare important topics that took place in the last 1 week. Today, we'll be taking up the third week of current affairs from the month of July 2025. And the articles which are listed or the articles which have been selected for this week's discussions are mentioned on the screen. The first one is Prime Minister Dhan-Dhaanya Krishi Yojana. It was announced in the budget this year. By the way, we have a entire discussion on the India's budget this year's. It is already on this channel, so you can go and check that out. We also have the second article, which is on the basis of outward foreign direct investment, also known as outward direct investment or ODI. The next one is the World Bank's report on India's inequality. What does the report says? And lastly, Aditi scheme. Aditi scheme is for the energy efficiency in MSME sector. So today we will be taking up these four respective schemes and see how they have to give us important information. So let's start with the first one. So the first one is with respect to the Prime Minister's or Pradhan Mantri Dhan-Dhaanya Krishi. Now let me just break down this scheme. Dhan here basically means wealth. And Dhanya basically means from basically agriculture. Now, Dhan-Dhaanya in the normal language, in the normal words being used by the people, it is actually the expansion of one's wealth or income generation. The same is true in this scheme. Now, this scheme is targeting increasing the wealth from the agriculture sector. So increasing the dhanya, right, Dhan-Dhaanya, making or income expansion wealth generation in the agriculture sector. So Pradhan Mantri or Prime Minister Dhan-Dhaanya Krishi Yojana. Now, multiple articles have been published on this in the last week. So Cabinet approves this scheme, Cabinet clear plans to lift agriculture profile. This was published in the Business Standard. Then the same article was published in the Hindu newspaper as well. Now, all these schemes, the first one is taken from the PIB. Now, all these schemes, all these articles actually highlight the one point. So instead of going through multiple newspapers, instead of going through multiple articles, this single discussion is enough for you to prepare for this examination. Now the question comes that, is this too important for us? The answer is yes. Look at these questions. Now I am giving you the PYQs of UPSC Civil Service Examination. Now in these PYQs, as you can see, 2016, then we have 2017. Now UPSC has been asking, and even the state PCS examinations, you will see that they ask questions on government schemes. Now, as this current affairs is for the national level important schemes or the questions, hence I'll be taking the central level of schemes more specifically. Now, in 2016, they asked on Pradhan Mantri Fasal Bima Yojana. In 2017, they asked on National Pension Scheme. And not only this, there are many. In 2016, again, they asked on Sovereign Bond Scheme. In 2019, they asked on service area approach of the lead bank scheme. So whether a part of the scheme, entire scheme, proposal of the scheme, objectives of the scheme, they can ask anything. Given that, we'll be preparing this specific discussion. Now, Pradhan Mantri Dhan-Dhaanya Krishi Yojana, which was announced in this year's budget, that is the Union Budget of 25-26. So this year, on 1st of February, our Finance Minister Nirmala Sitharaman, she announced this scheme. However, this scheme is not associated with a single ministry. I make my point clear. It is a scheme which brings convergence of multiple schemes. You may have heard about a program known as Aspirational District Program. aspirational district program. Under this program, government actually converged existing schemes and brought a quality evaluation parameter or indicator evaluation program. Now this scheme, this aspirational district program, it was launched way back in 2006, 17, 18 and it has been working since then. On the similar ground, they have launched this scheme which is going to last till next 6 years. So from 25 to 31. It is a convergence of 36 existing schemes. So please make this point clear, guys. This is not a new scheme. It is what it is doing. It is converging. It is bringing together multiple 36 schemes across 11 departments and other ministries. So various departments and ministries and the state level schemes will be converged, will be brought under the single program. Now what they will do by converging this? Because there is no separate allocation has been made for this. So don't think that extra money will be given for this scheme. No. It is within the same program. Nothing, no extra allocation will be made for this program to run. It will work as per under the same program. We have the government machinery for that to implement this program. Special focus will be on the pulses, fruits and vegetables. Basically, they are focusing non-food grain items. So rice, wheat, coarse cereals, they have been excluded from this. I won't say completely excluded, but their focus has not been much. The focus will be on 3 items. 2 belongs to horticulture, fruits and vegetables. And already you know that fruits and this horticulture has already surpassed the food grain production in India. Pulses is the one where India is still a net importer because we consume more than what we produce. So as we are a net importer, we are importing pulses from outside, including the countries like Mozambique. In this scenario, improving the pulses production is extremely important for us. Given this understanding, we have converged 36 schemes. So what are the components of this scheme? Number 1, 100 districts have been selected for this on the basis of 3 indicators: low productivity, low cropping intensity and less credit disbursement. So those 100 agricultural districts, please understand this, these are 100 agricultural districts. These are not the districts which have deserts. These are not the districts which are on the hilly areas. They are properly identified 100 districts where agriculture is prominent. But who are these? Which are those 100 districts? With 3 important identifications. Number 1, low productivity, low cropping intensity. Low productivity basically means per acre or per hectare how much they are producing. Low cropping intensity means how intensively they are cropping a particular crop. And less credit disbursement, those areas where agricultural credit is not easily available to the farmer. So out of these 3 criteria, they have identified 100 such districts. Now those 100 such districts will be selected from each state. So one district will be selected from every state, even if they are on the hilly areas. Committee will be formed at district and state and the national level for planning, implementation and monitoring. As I told you, it's not a new program. What it is basically targeting on monitoring and implementation. The most important problems that we face with respect to the government schemes in India is its improper implementation. Now, because of this, government is bringing various programs where they are shifting their focus from just providing a service to providing and evaluating a service. Now, in this case also, government is trying to evaluate something. They want to monitor, and this monitoring will be done at a state, district and even the national level. For this, district agriculture and allied activities plan will be finalized. Who will plan? This plan is at district level. So it will be finalized by the district Dhan-Dhaanya Samiti, which will have farmers, for instance. So farmers will come up and will decide a plan for across the district that how much they should invest in which scheme. 36 schemes will be subsumed, have been included in this. So they will try to plan up that how to use those 36 schemes, which scheme needs to be improved, which scheme needs to be reduced down, all those kind of a plan will be evaluated by farmers including body, and these plans will be prepared for each district out of these 100. District plans will align with the national goals. For instance, Government of India under National Food Security Mission is aspiring to increase the pulses production. For that matter, that is the national goal, increase pulses production. But at every district level, let's say out of 100, 20 districts are the ones which are producing pulses. Now in those 120 districts, government will provide a different plan, including the consultation of the farmers, and those plans will align with the national goals of increasing the pulses. So from the grassroots level, planning process is starting, but it is aligned with the national goals. Progress will be monitored on 117 indicators. That's why this scheme is mostly about monitoring outcomes. So please understand that, right? So this scheme is all about monitoring the outcomes. The schemes are already there. Those 36 schemes are already working in India. We have to focus on their outcomes, right? So performance indicators will be there. Public sector banks will develop the Grameen credit score framework to serve the credit needs of self-help group and the people in the rural area. Basically, every public sector bank, let's say we have SBI. So SBI will prepare a small plan. Under this small plan, they will try to chalk out that whether this particular village people are worthy to give loans or not. What is their exact history of the past? I mean, in the past or in the history, what has been their credit performance? Do they take the loans and don't return it ever? Or were they the credit worthy loanies? So government will, this public sector bank under the government will try to chalk out a plan and identify those self-help groups. NABARD may also help in this. And those self-help groups which have a good credit history will be provided credit easily for the agricultural development. Beautiful plan, right? Given this, what are the benefits? Now, when 36 schemes will work together and every ups and downs of those schemes will be monitored and the report will be sent to the center, things will be done properly. Higher productivity because they are targeting the lower productivity states. Value addition in the agriculture and the allied sectors, especially marketing, right, packaging and others. Livelihood creation, the wealth of a particular family will increase. Increase the domestic production of pulses, fruits, vegetables and others. Achieving the self-reliance, obviously, because pulses is the one where India has, right, exports are less than imports, or imports are more than exports. So we have a trade deficit as far as pulses are concerned. So we will become self-reliance. We will not be relying on the imports of pulses. Crop diversification and sustainable agricultural practices, because many of the schemes within this program are going to talk about organic farming. So sustainability is there. Augment the post-harvest storage at panchayat and block level, because most of the time what we have seen that we grow too many crops. World Food Program has also criticized India, and World Bank has also criticized India for wasting around 25 to 35% of its food after production. Now to reduce that and utilizing that food, because vegetables and fruits are perishable. They do not last long. At max 3 days, 4 days, up to 7 days they can last. So their storage, transportation, cold storage, everything is important so as to reduce their wastage. And in this program is going to work. Improve irrigation facility. Still, India does not irrigate more than 66 or 2/3 of its area. Now, given that a large part of India's area is still rain-fed, 35 to 40% is still rain-fed, considering that situation, improvement on the irrigation, including the 100 districts, is very important. Now, this is your practice question, guys, from the scheme. So you can pause the video right now. You can go through this and do comment your answer on this question in the chat box. Let's move to the next article. This article is about how India is making FDI to the other countries. That is, outward FDI or outward foreign direct investment. We have taken this article from two different sources. The first one is Business Standard and the second one is The Wire. Both these, one is the digital format, the other one is the newspaper. Both these articles have provided us the information on what is the outward FDI. Outward FDI basically means Indians making foreign direct investment to other countries, maybe in the neighborhood, right? So in this case, that suppose there is an Indian company and this Indian company has invested in Singapore company and the Singapore company is in Singapore. Like Indians are starting selling two-wheelers in Africa. Indians are selling four-wheelers in American markets. For that they require FDI. So when Indians make FDI in other parts of the world, it is known as outward FDI, FDI going from India to other countries. Now let's understand. Now the article says that FDI has increased to 5 billion in the month of June. So the 5 billion has been sent from India to the other countries. Now, is this a good sign? Well, technically it is a good sign. It shows that India is expanding, India is becoming global. But is this a tweak? Is this a channel of creating or diverting the black money from India to the other parts of the world? Okay, we'll look that throughout this article. Let's understand that how this article has been shaped. Now, the trend says that the outward foreign direct investment in India increased to 5.03 billion in the month of June. So that's the total amount that we have sent from India to outside, which is more than, right, 2.9 billion, which was there in the last year. So it is almost close to double from what we had last year. So outward FDI is improving year on year. We are sending more money outside India. But please understand one thing, guys. Outside FDI does not mean that this money is lost. This money has gone somewhere else. Now it will come back again. In terms of profits, in terms of dividends, in terms of interest, it will come back to India only. Extra. So if 5 billion is going, let's say 6 billion will come back to India. Now the types, basically the components. So outbound FDI comprises of three big segments. The largest one is the guarantee, where one company gives a guarantee to the other about the payments. Then the second one is equity capital, when one company purchases the shares of the foreign company in foreign, and the loan given by one company to the other or individuals to the others, right? So these are the three components. We'll take them deeper into the next slide. The highest outflow was in the IT sector. So Indians are making more and more investment in terms of information technology, software as a service, SAS, SaaS, right? IT enabled services, ITES. So let's say Tata Consultancy Services is now opening a new office in Africa. So they are opening a new IT office over there. So we are making a foreign direct investment over there. So highest outflow was seen in the IT sector and followed by consumer goods and power sector. So these are the top three ones. The highest money which is going from India to other country goes to Singapore, which is close to 22%, 20 to 22%, and it's the highest. Singapore is a country where Indians are forming their own companies. Yes, you may go and read the case of Flipkart. So Indians are forming companies in Singapore, because creating a company in Singapore is far, far easier than creating a company in India. So the money is going from India to those companies which are owned by India, created in Singapore. So those companies, they have headquarters in Singapore. So the money from India going to those companies, by the way, they are owned by Indians only. So this is like a money going from India to the Indians living outside India and coming back to India, right? So this is a kind of a circle that they have created through this outward FDI. Now, before moving towards the outward FDI, we should understand what is FDI. Foreign direct investment is the total amount of money that has been invested in long-term assets, and the total ownership under FDI is more than 10%. That's the point. Let me give you a highlight for that. Let's say there is company A. and there is company B. This company is in India and this company is in US. Oh, pardon me. Now this company A, now I'm talking about outward FDI. Now this company A is going to invest in company B. So this company A has provided loans to company B in US. Now as this money goes, there are two conditions. Number one, this money was invested for long term. So it is not going to be like invested today and withdrawn tomorrow. So it is going to be long term. The second important reason is that this money which they have invested is going to be invested for more than 10%. So this loan that they have given to that company should be more than 10%. If it is less than 10%, it is foreign portfolio investment, FPI. So to be FDI, these are the two conditions. So 10% plus stake and long term. These are the two conditions for which money has been made to the company B, right? Now let's understand more dimensions of FDI. Investment of 10% or more in listed companies. It can be in the unlisted company also, right? So if a foreign company is making investment in India, this is inward FDI. So investment of 10% or more in listed companies in India, right? Less than 10% is considered to be foreign portfolio investment, as I told you. Who can receive? Company can receive, partnership firms can receive, venture capital fund can receive, limited liability partnership can receive, even the startups can receive. An individual is not considered to be a company, right? So individuals, if they receive any money, it is not considered as a foreign direct investment. Routes. There are two routes. Number one is government route and second one is automatic route. Government route is also the approval route. You require government approval. Now government has a specific department for that. So we have foreign investment facilitation portal. It's a website. So anyone who is looking for an investment from government approval, they have to go to this website and concerned administrative ministry or the department will be given. Let's say the investment is going for the IT. So the respective ministry of IT will be receiving that application. If the investment is coming, let's say in defense, so it will go to the Ministry of Defense. So it will be distributed respectively. After that, if the investment is over 5,000 crores, if the investment is over 5,000 crore, it will go and it will be approved by Cabinet Committee on Economic Affairs. Then, so this is the approval route. The second way is automatic route. No prior approval is required from the government. That's it. No prior approval is required. One-to-one interaction is important, right? So two companies, one is making the investment in the second one, they will have their own duty. Paperwork will be done so that government will be informed. Government and RBI will be informed, but approval is not required. So this is automatic approval. FDI from the country with which India shares its border is allowed only under approval route. That is the first route, because of money laundering and many other things. Like, so money coming from, let's say, Nepal, or money going to Nepal, or money coming from, let's say, Bangladesh going to Bangladesh, government approval is required. Eligible instrument. How can we make money? How FDI is being made? Through shares and equities, warrants, fully compulsory and mandatory convertible debentures. So they can purchase debentures as well. Foreign currency convertible bonds, foreign currency exchangeable bonds, depository receipts and others. What are these? There is a separate video for that on this channel. You can go and you can watch that video on all these things which have been mentioned over here. These different types of bonds and other things, they have been discussed. So these are the instruments through which it can be used. Who cannot receive foreign direct investment? These sectors: lottery, gambling, betting, chit funds, nidhi company. These are the first. These are the fives which cannot receive FDI. So this the betting apps that you see these days, Rummy Circle, My Circle, all those kind of, right, Dream 11, they are providing betting. They do not have FDI approval. Trading or trade in transferable development rights, TDRs, not allowed. Real estate business, not allowed. Construction of farmhouse, not allowed. Cigar manufacturing, not allowed. Activities not open to the private sector, which includes railway operation in atomic energy and atomic minerals also. Atomic mineral. All the discussions that I'm conducting right now, these notes are given in the description box. So if you want to download, you can download. The link is mentioned. You can have all these notes in the PDF format. Now, sectoral cap, composition cap of all foreign sectors or foreign investment are being given. In some sectors it is 26%, in some sectors it is 49%, in some sectors it is 74%. So in some sectors it is 100%. So 100% FDI is also allowed in multiple sectors. So foreign company can come, can acquire 100% of the domestic company, or can make 100% investment in a particular sector. Note, once FPI turns FDI, that is more than 10%. Let's say there is company A which is investing in company B. How much investment they have done? They have done a small investment of 5%, not 10% or more, only 5%. It is FPI. If it goes beyond 10%, let's say they have invested 15% to an Indian company, then it will be considered as FDI. In the next year, they may reduce it to 5%, but it will remain as an FDI. So once FDI will always remain FDI. Now, this is the basic difference between FDI and FPI. So it is long term, short term. Long term presence in the foreign country can come, can go anytime. So that's why it is known as hot money. They can come today and by the evening they can leave. They will buy certain securities or assets or shares. In the evening, they will just sell all of them. It's so quick. Control, very significant control over the particular entity. So if company A has purchased company B's shares, so company A will have a substantial control on company B. Even the management practices, work culture can be influenced. Nothing over there. Investment in tangible assets, buying of the building, material, salaries of the employees, management, human resources, everything is under control. Only the financial assets. Returns, profit, dividend, capital appreciation, dividend, interest, capital appreciation, not profit. Here we are making profit. Over there we are not making profit. Why? Substantial difference in the assets. So here we have tangible assets. Over there we don't have that. Because here they are running a business. Over there they are just the investors. Running a business generates profit. As an investor, it does not. Profit regulation. Government policies regulate more or less flexible under SEBI. Impact on economy, creates job, bring technology, economic growth. Over here, liquidity shocks. As I told you, they invest quickly, they withdraw quickly. That's why. So it is hot money. FPI is very, very, you can say, unexpected, more or less. FDI on the other hand is very, very trustworthy in terms when you compare the both. In the recent years, we have seen the FDI has been reducing. In the previous video also in one of the current affair class, I have discussed that thoroughly. FDI outflow components. Now these are the three things, types, how FDI goes out of country. That is outward FDI. The first is equity capital, buying or disposing the shares of other companies in the foreign area. Simple. So Indians buying or selling shares of a foreign company in foreign area. Reinvested earnings. Let's say I have invested in XYZ company in America and I have earned a profit out of it. I have earned a lot of profit in the last 5 years. I don't want to bring that profit back to India. I will reinvest that profit in the same company or maybe in any other sector. That is reinvested earnings. Intra-company loans, one company giving loans to the other company, as simple as that. So guys, these are the three types of outward FDI that has been there in practice actually. Outward direct investment from India, as you can see, these are the trends. UPSC can put a question on that. Singapore is the highest shareholders. So the highest money going from India to Singapore, right, is there. 2,03,233 crore. That's a huge number, guys. That's literally a very huge number. Where this money is going? In Singapore, or the companies by Indians in Singapore? So because that company was formulated, registered in Singapore, it is considered as a foreign entity. It is not an Indian entity, despite the owner can be Indian. Then UK, US, UK, Netherlands, UAE, Mauritius, Switzerland. Now Mauritius, Switzerland, Bermuda, Cyprus, Jersey, right? These are the countries which are known for round tripping. They are known for black marketing. They are known for tax evading, tax havens. So maybe this money which is going out of India is maybe a black money, which has been converted into white and then round trip, and they have been going to the other countries and revolving around. Now with this discussion in place, I am giving you this two questions to practice. You can pause the video and you can go through this first question, and then you can also go through this specific question. I would love to see your answers in the chat box as per this question. So these are the second and the third question for today. Now we come to another article which shows that World Bank has conducted a detailed study on how the inequality is changing in India. Basically, inequality means that how unequal, right? How the people are different on different parameters. The difference between highs and lows, that shows inequality. How many rich are there and how many poor are there? In terms of wealth, in terms of consumption, in terms of income, can be anything. But the wider the difference between the rich and the poor, wider will be inequality. Now this inequality, mathematically, it is measured through something known as Gini coefficient. Now Gini coefficient, I'll show you the diagram for that as well. Gini coefficient is something that shows that how the difference between the rich and the poor is within a particular country. And Gini coefficient uses Lorentz curve for that. So I'll explain Gini coefficient, I will explain Lorentz curve, and I will also explain Kuznets curve today. This may be asked in multiple examinations irrespective what you are fighting for. Now, Indian inequality and the World Bank's claim. This article published in multiple newspapers, but as a very small one, but this is very important for your preparation. Now, recent World Bank report claims that India is one of the lowest inequality level. Sounds weird, right? India has one of the lowest inequality level. That there is a fall of Gini coefficient as far as consumption inequality is concerned. So yes, India's inequality is declining on consumption inequality, on consumption parameter. Now let's understand this, guys. There is person A, right? So there is Mr. A, there is Mr. B, and there is Mr. C. This person is rich, this person is middle class, and this person is poor. Alright, this is poor. Now, when it comes to their food habits, consumption, food habits, right? This person consumes 2000 calories, right? This person achieves like, let's say 1900 calories, and this person goes for 1800 calories. Right? Now, inequality, it says that the difference between the richest and the poorest is not much, right? It's just 200 calories. So, from this perspective, you will say inequality is declining. So, consumption wise, yes, consumption wise, the difference between the two is reducing. Rich person does not mean that he is eating like 20 kg of food every day. No. In fact, the more a person becomes rich, the lesser they consume. That's true. This is known as Angel's law. This is known as Angel's consumption law. As the per capita income increases, people consume less because they have to do less physical work. Now, given this understanding, please understand one thing, that this does not give you the true picture. Consumption inequality is falling does not mean people are becoming rich. Still, Mr. A will remain rich and Mr. C will remain poor. He is, let's say, Mr. A is earning 10 lakh per month and he is earning 15,000 per month. There's a huge difference between the two. This is true inequality. So when you talks about income inequality, we are very backward. But as far as consumption inequality is concerned, we are reducing the inequality. At least a good sign somewhere. Otherwise, we are pathetic in terms of inequality. So India's inequality in terms of consumption has been reducing according to the World Bank. Now, if World Bank is saying, we can accept that. Let's see what this is. Now, let's understand what is Gini coefficient and what is Lorentz curve. Now, assume that this green line that you see over here, this is a line of equality. This is a line of equality. Line of equality means the cumulative share of the income earned, cumulative population. So let's say we are at this particular point. This point is point A on this green line. This is the line of perfect equality. Everyone is equal. Now this point A proves what? This proves that, let's say, 50% of income earned is shared by 50% of the population. So 50% of the population has 50% of the wealth. Then if I reach at this particular point, right? So it will show 90% of the wealth is with the 90% of the population. 10% of the wealth is with the 10% of the population. So more or less the amount of money that country is producing and the population it has an equality, perfect equality, right? So this green line shows the line of equality. On the line of equality, it is written 0. 0 means what? There is perfect equality. Perfect equality, right? Now the blue line that you see is known as Lorentz curve. Blue lines are actually, blue line is showing the status of a particular country. Let's say this blue line shows the status of India's population, right? So there are multiple points, let's say point A, B, C and D. So these points shows that how much population is earning how much money, right? So let's say this point A, this shows that the 20% of the population, let's say, has 10% of wealth. Inequality, 20:10. The same is true with point D. The same is true with B and C. So all these points are showing some kind of inequality. What we need is green line. What we have is blue line, right? Now the difference between these two, let's say this area is known as zone, right? Zone A. This is known as zone A. Now this perfect triangle that you see over here, look at this green line and the triangle that it is creating, right? So from here to this point to that point and again there's a triangle. So in this particular triangle that you see over here, we have a red line or blue line. So this is the blue line, which is Lorentz curve, right? Which is known as zone A. So this is known as A. Now let's say the area which is left from the entire triangle is area B. So this is area B or zone B. So Lorentz curve shows the exact situation of a country in terms of income distribution. How much percentage of the population is holding how much income. Now A and B that we have. So this blue and green area, the area between blue and green line, and the area below the blue line, this is B. Now what is Gini coefficient, guys? Gini coefficient is A upon A plus B. That's it. What is this? This area, that is the inequality difference between the present status of a country and what should be the perfect. So difference between these two over the entire area, that is Gini coefficient. So this will give you the idea how Gini coefficient is being measured, right? The area which is here over the entire area, because this area shows the inequality. How far we are from the perfect equality. How far? Let's say there is another line which is going from here. So obviously this line shows smaller area. This specific line that I have drawn. So the area of inequality has squeezed, it has reduced down. So in this formula the A will reduce. When A will reduce means the numerator will reduce, you will get smaller value. Now Kuznets says that when the GDP of a country improves, whenever the GDP of a country improves, there is a symbol or there is a sign which says that the overall there is an improvement. So as the GDP increases, initially the Gini coefficient will be high. But when the GDP increases further with the time, the Gini coefficient is going to decline. Now this is shown by a Kuznets curve. Now look at this curve. On this side we have time, on this side we have Gini coefficient. So initially the Gini coefficient is increasing, as you can see, it is going upward. Then after a certain point, right, till here it is known as developing economy. It is known as developing economy. India is in this position right now. After this turning point, it will be called as developed economy, because after this Gini coefficient will decline. Okay. Now India is here. India wants to aspire to be there. So we still do not have achieved this turning point. Now many economists believe that this turning point will be achieved when we will reach $25 trillion of GDP. We have not reached even 5. Okay, what are the consumption inequality? Simple. When people are spending differently. In this terms, understates the inequality. Now, World Bank is saying inequality on terms of consumption has reduced, but still there is some doubts. Okay. Wealth inequality, when the asset ownership of the people remain more or less the same, it's very high in India. It's really very high in India. There are people who have 20 properties and there are people who are living on the rented apartment for their entire life, and not even that. So wealth assessment is very, very wide. The last one is income inequality, earnings and wages, right? Here also India has a very high, over 6, and it is increasing, guys. So income inequality in India is actually increasing. If you remove the top 5% of India's population, India is actually a very poor country. So the contribution in the $4 trillion GDP that we have been laughing around, we have been enjoying around, is largely because the top 5% of India's population is earning a lot, right? It is significantly higher. We have very high, right? It is one of the highest among the globe. Globally, it is one of the highest. Limitations. What are the limitations of Gini coefficient, guys? In this formula, what is the limitation? Number 1, aggregate measures hide the intensity. It says 20% population earn 10% of something. But what about that 20%? What about the 20%? For that, we require Theil index. Theil index give you a smallest possible distribution of the data, right? Which can give you this percentile, as you can see, up to 1%. How much top 1% inequality is there? How much 2%, 3%, 4%, 10%, 90%? So very small changes can be identified, which does not shown in the Gini coefficient. Implications. If India has a very high inequality, what are the implications, guys? There are too many of them. Number one, it reduces economic mobility, right? Limit upward movement of the bottom 50% population. Once poor, always the poor. So the top 20, the bottom 50% of the India's population, they are largely poor only. They may have a mobile phone. Rickshaw wala having a mobile phone does not mean he's rich. What quality of food he is having? Is his children having a good quality life? Education, health, that's the point. Lower aggregate demand. Once a poor, always a poor. So their savings of the rich do not translate into the proportional spendings. So the people who are rich, right, very rich, ultra rich I would say, they have a high savings. But where is their saving going on? We don't know. Social fragmentation, polarization, unrest, fuel representation, politics, vote bank politics, distorted policy outcomes, excess influence of the elite group on the taxation, subsidies and land use, which is also known as crony capitalism, collusive corruption, skewed growth patterns, benefits of the GDP acquired disproportionate to the top 10%. I give you 5, 10 also. Now, even though if you remove the top 5%, it's horrible. Imagine if you remove the top 10% of India's population. What about the bottom 90? It's horrible situation, right? Solutions. Progressive taxation. Ultra rich should be taxed properly. In India, unfortunately, the ultra rich are not income taxed because they do not show their income in terms of taxation. The billionaires in India, their salaries are close to the service class people. Why? Because most of their income are in equities and shares, and holding equities and shares do not acquire or amount to the income tax. Unfortunate. Universal public services. Most of the services should be universal instead of targeted beneficiaries. Formal financial assistance, right, or access should be provided. Although we have Jan-Dhan account, but still 50% of the most of the accounts remain dormant. Skilling and jobs, because if a person has good skills, they will get better jobs. Better jobs obviously means higher per capita income. Better data, right? Integrate tax, surveys, assessment record to publish accurate inequality. Because see, Gini coefficient and this Lorentz curve, it is more or less, guys, based on hypothecations, samples. Because in India, we still do not have proper household consumption expenditure. We do not have proper household saving, and household basic wealth per capita, per family, per household data is not available. We have not conducted any census till now in the last 80 years. Not even a single census is there which provides that kind of an intensive data. Household income, if you go to a particular household and ask the person how much he earns, most probably he will lie. That's what India is. Okay, so with this, I'm leaving you in this practice question. Pause the video, read it thoroughly and do answer in the chat box. Let's move to the next one. This article shows a new scheme which has been developed by Government of India known as Aditi. Yes, this is the name of the scheme. I have taken this article from the PIB. Now, national rollout of Aditi has come up. What is Aditi? Aditi stands for, it's a long word, assistance in deploying energy efficient technologies in industries and establishment. Basically, if a person has a small factory, right, and he's producing too much of carbon pollution, too much of harmful gases are being produced in that factory, especially MSME. So let's say there's a medium enterprise, 200 crores of investment. It's a huge factory, 200 crores of investment is there, and they are producing a lot of greenhouse gases, a lot of harmful, environmentally unfriendly gases. They are producing pollution. How to control that? For this, government has created this Aditi scheme. Now, basically, this scheme is all about what? This scheme is all about providing cheaper loans. Yes, you have heard me correctly. Government has kept 1,000 crore to provide cheaper loans. How loan can be cheaper? Interest subvention. So government will provide 3% to 5% of interest subsidy to those MSME who are employing, who are deploying, who are using the latest technologies to reduce greenhouse effect or latest technologies to reduce their energy consumption. Let's say there is a company and they want to install a solar power station, very small solar power station of 5 kilowatt. Government will provide funds for that. Let's say there is a company where they want to construct a new building, right? They want to construct a new building which does not require too much of lights, too much of tube lights, bulb, LED. They don't require that. Kind of a green building. Government will provide money, interest subsidy on that loan under this scheme. So this is Aditi for you. The Union Minister has launched Aditi scheme to boost industrial energy efficiency. This is for industrial sector only, specifically targeting to the MSME. It was launched in Panipat, Haryana. It's a flagship scheme, so please understand, whenever the flagship schemes are there in the news, UPSC may ask that. Any competitive exams it can be asked. Low carbon industries to promote low carbon industrial growth with clean, efficient energy technologies. Yes, so anyone who adopt clean energy technology will be given a small subsidy on their loans. It is launched by Ministry of Power under Bureau of Energy Efficiency. 1000 crores will be given, out of which 875 will be given through the interest subvention, 3% to 5%. The rest will be given for audits and hand-holding support. Technical support, website will be created, accounts will be checked, auditing will be done. For all these, this much of amount will be created. The scheme will last for 2 years. Next, objective. Why do we need such kind of schemes? That's the biggest question. Promote energy efficiency in MSME to reduce emissions. True. Absolutely true. Especially which sector I'm talking about. So please remember, it is largely targeting MSME sector. Provide financial assistance and technical support. That's why they have extra money kept for that. Improve power productivity ratio. Support India's net zero and Viksit Bharat goal. What is net zero? India has targeted to be a net zero in terms of carbon production, carbon pollution. So what carbon we release in the environment and what carbon we sequestrate, we take back from the environment, should be equal. So that is known as net zero. So we are trying to reduce, because India has already made a lot of commitment in the Paris climate deal. We are just trying to follow that. Then comes components of this scheme. So 5% to micro and small enterprise, 3% to medium enterprises, interest subsidy will be given, and for this 875 crores will be used. Investment, hand-holding support means other supports. Audit will be conducted. They will help in preparing DPR, right? Implementation of the technology, monitoring, verification, post-installation, all these things kind of support will be given by the government. Very good program. Digital facilitation, a different website also. They will create a small website also for this, right? In the first phase, 60 industrial clusters will be collected. Then 100 industrial clusters will be collected for this. Outcome, up to 50% of energy usage will reduce down, right? And 9,000 investment can be done under this category. So if government is saying they will provide an interest subsidy of 875 crores for this project, it basically means that government is also aspiring to have a kind of a boost in MSME, because this clean energy will boost 9,000 crores of investment in the MSME sector. The perfect scheme if it works properly. So implementation and monitoring will remain a major issue over here. Otherwise, the scheme is very good. It will definitely help India to achieve net zero carbon emission in the near future. Now that's all for today. If you are a student who is aspiring to have a proper like-minded teaching, if you are a student who wants a teacher to teach and do not have any nonsense discussion in the class, if you want a highly qualified teaching in the UPSC field, or if you want to go through the most intensive notes in the UPSC industry, then I, Jateen Bharadwaj, floating a batch for UPSC GS courses in Indian economy. This will cover your prelims and the mains, and I will be providing you help till your interview stage. So to know more, you can pause the video, you can go through that. I'll be taking classes for that. Over 100 hours of classes will be taken up, including prelims and the mains. More than 100 mains question, more than 500 prelims practice questions will be given to you throughout these classes. The link for this classes is given in the description box. You can check out the link and you can know about the plan for more. Stay tuned with us. Do subscribe to us. Do subscribe this channel for more such weekly current affair updates and too many videos in both Hindi and English language. Thank you everyone. I'll see you in the next one.